Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslima kathira. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad al-Fatih ma ughliq wa al-khatir ma sabaq nasir al-haq bil-haq wal-hadi ila siratik al-mustaqim wa ala alihi haqqa qadri al-miqdar al-azim. This is a continuation of the biographies of the companions of Sayyidina Shaykh Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhu. We have ended or continued the conclusion of Sayyidi Al-Hajj Ali Tamasini, in which he was directed by Shaykh Ahmad Tijani to take his family to the desert, to the Sahara. And the two family members at that time, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had two sons. And while pointing out the inheritance in this story, the biography of the two sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani by the name of Muhammad al-Habib, Muhammad al-Kabir. Muhammad al-Kabir was the oldest, Muhammad Habib is the youngest, and they were the two children that survived Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. Even though he had many other children, they were all buried, and they died and buried in Fez before Shaykh Ahmad Tijani passed away. The two that survived him is Muhammad al-Kabir and Muhammad al-Habib. You will see in the biographies of these sons the inheritance of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In particular, regarding his son Muhammad al-Habib, subhanallah, Muhammad al-Kabir, you will see a lot of similarities in the life of how Muhammad al-Kabir passed away, and him being the son of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, and also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where his grandson Sayyidina Hussein passed away. You will see this similarity in the life of Muhammad al-Kabir and the similarity in the life of Sayyidina Hussein and how they passed away. Radiallahu anhum. Sayyidina Muhammad al-Kabir, the son of Sayyidina Shaykh Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhu, was born in Abu Samgun. Abu Samgun. Muhammad al-Habib was born in Fez. We will go through the story of Muhammad al-Habib, but also first we will go through the story of Muhammad al-Kabir. Muhammad al-Kabir was born in Abu Samgun, and his mother was the Honorable Lady Mabruka. Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had two wives. His two wives were in the beginning were his slave. He freed them. He freed these two slave women and then married them. Their names is Mabruka and Mubaraka. Mabruka and Mubaraka. Mabruka is the mother of Sayyidi Muhammad al-Kabir, and he took the tariqah from Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. But according to the information that has reached us, he was never authorized to be a muqaddam. He was never a muqaddam. However, Sayyid Hajj Ali Tamasini took care of him and authorized him to do certain special askar. Muhammad al-Kabir, again, was never named a muqaddam. So no one on the faces of this earth should have their silsila going back through Sayyid Muhammad al-Kabir. He is among those who survived Shaykh Ahmad Tijani with his brother Muhammad al-Habib, a Saghir. And as we said before, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had many children, boys and girls, but most of them passed away in Fez. Among them, he also had a daughter named Sayyidah Fatima, who was buried in the cemetery Bab al-Futuh outside of Fez. Shaykh Ahmad Tijani took great care of both of his sons, Muhammad Kabir and Muhammad Habib, watching over them with his approval, and he directly requested the guarantee of the Prophet ﷺ about them. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ announced to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani that they would receive the supreme opening and they will be Arifa Billah, Muhammad Kabir and Muhammad Habib. In the course of their lifetime, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani married both of them off when they was younger, and the marriage contract was done by himself. in the presence of his Sahaba. Before his death, and this was regarding the ending story of Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini, when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani passed away, and he gave his secret to Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini, he made a prediction that his other companion, Sayyidi Muhammad al-Ghali. Muhammad al-Ghali is the teacher of Sheikh Umar Futi. He made a prediction that upon his death, Sayyidi Muhammad al-Ghali would do his janazah. He would do his janazah when he passed away, Sayyidi Muhammad al-Ghali. He would perform the janazah. But when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani passed away, Muhammad al-Ghali was not in Fez. He was not in Fez at that time. He was traveling. Another one of his wishes of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani was that the custody of his two children would be entrusted to Sayyidi Al-Hajj Ali Tamasini, and he would take them back to Ain Maadi, Algeria, to the desert where they would be raised. And he is known for saying this famous statement that nothing but the desert is suitable for my sons. And when he left this dunya, Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini, accompanied by some of his companions that were going to the desert, and they wanted to take the children of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani away from Fez and to go back to Ain Maadi. But the children of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, the two sons, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to leave because they were basically raised in Fez. But remember about this prediction about about Sayyidi Muhammad al-Ghali, the teacher of Shaykh Umar Futi. Sayyidi Muhammad al-Ghali, he predicted that he would do his janazah, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's janazah. Shaykh Ahmad Tijani said that Muhammad al-Ghali wouldn't do his janazah, but when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani passed away, Muhammad al-Ghali was not there at that time. But remember that point, because the companions knew whenever Shaykh Ahmad Tijani predicted something, it always came true. It always came to pass. So just as that side note, put a sticky note on this voice note, if you can, regarding that prediction about Muhammad Ghali supposed to do his janazah, but Muhammad Ghali was not in affairs when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani passed away. Somebody else did the janazah. Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini could not force the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani to leave. They were ready to leave with the wives of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, his possessions, but he could not force the sons to leave. They didn't want to leave, and they did not want to leave the home, Dar al-Mara in Fez. That's the name of the house that was given to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani by Sayyidi Mawla Suleiman. When they were about to leave, and the two sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani did not want to leave, Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini made a supplication to Allah with 200 people who were leaving with him. And he told all of them to raise their hands, and he made a special dua. I request Allah that the Sultan repossesses Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's house, to take his house back, so that the children, the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, will become tired of it and leave the country. And he concluded his supplication, and they resumed their journey to Ain Maadi so they could leave according to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's instructions. According to the decree of Allah, the following incident occurred with Sayyidi Muhammad al-Kabir. One day he was walking down the roads of Fez riding on a certain mule. And that mule belonged to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. Shaykh Ahmad Tijani was known for riding on a certain mule, or donkey or mule. And that was a sign of that was one of the things that people used to do in Fez. The small streets, the horses, they would ride donkeys or mules. And he was seen by Mawla Ibrahim, who was one of the sons of Sultan Mawla Suleiman. So the prince of the king seen Muhammad Kabir riding this mule, and he said to Muhammad Kabir, "I want you to, well, basically, let me ride the mule. Let me play with it for a while, and I'll give it back to you." But Muhammad Kabir understood what his real aim is. He basically knew that if he gave this prince his mule to play with, he would never get his mule back. So he refused. The king's son got upset and sent a letter to his father regarding this problem between him and Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's children. At that time, before Mullah Suleiman, his kingdom was in Fez, but then he moved his capital to Marrakesh, because in Marrakesh there were problems. Certain revolts, certain groups were starting to revolt against him, to rebel against his kingdomship. Many of the people, and this is where you get to a lot of the history and the politics of the Tariqah, a lot of the people who were rebelling against him in the southern regions of Marrakesh, those armies and those rebellions, revolts, were some other Tariqahs as well. And that's when you have some of the politics of the history of the politics between the Tariqah Tijaniya and some of the other Turuqs, due to this particular history where Mullah Suleiman was crushing these rebellions that was happening against him in the south in Marrakesh. So that's why he moved his kingdom to Marrakesh. So his son, while in Fez, sent a letter to him saying how, he had this problem with Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's son. And basically, the Sultan instructed his son to give the house to a certain give that house, Dar Mara, give it back to a certain person who was living in Fez at that time, a descendant in the family of Mullah Suleiman, because that house originally belonged to him, and he gave it to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani as a gift when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani first moved to Fez. And he knew of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's wish for his children to leave and go back to the desert, but he knew the children of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani didn't want to go. So because of this particular incident, he ordered the children of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani to leave with Ali Tamassini back to Algeria. And that's basically showing the acceptance of the dua of Sidi Hajj Ali Tamassini, requesting Allah to make the children of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani want to leave that house. But according to Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, he also predicted in the Ifadat Ahmadiyya, which is a book written by one of his companions named Sayyidi Tayyib Sufyani. He made the following prediction, that this house will always be in his heritage. And later on, in recent history, that house was given back to the family of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. So the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani were made to leave this house. And when they left, started to take all their possessions out of that house, before they left, they put it all in the Zawiya in Fez. And it was an uncomfortable situation because it started to be cramped. The Zawiya was not as big as it is today. So imagine a very small Zawiya, and the children of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, his sons, are about to move, and they have all of their possessions in the Zawiya. And they waited for Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamassini so they could leave with him going to Ain Maadi. And when Ali Tamassini came back, they were prevented to leave because the companions of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani did not want them to leave. They could not bear the descendants of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani leaving. So the situation started coming to a dead end. And he left the choice of where you want to go to the children of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, Muhammad Kabir and Muhammad Habib. And finally, they decided to go and leave because the signs were showing that it's good for them to leave from the problem that Muhammad Kabir had with the son of Mullah Suleiman, the king, and also they knew the instructions of their father. for them to go to the desert. But there was one last problem that happened when they tried to leave. And we will also refer to this again in the history of the story of Muhammad al-Ghali. Remember we said put that sticky note there. And how Muhammad al-Ghali was predicted to do the janazah of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. But when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani passed away, he was traveling at that time. He was not there. Somebody else did the janazah. So at this time, the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani are about to leave. The wives, the children, his wives, his possessions, all of them are about to leave with Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini from Fez, leaving, going to Algeria. But the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani said, we are not leaving Fez without the body of our father. We're going to take the body and go back to Ain Maadi with him. So they dug up his body. They dug up Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's body by the two sons and some servants and some inhabitants who came with Ali Tamasini. This happened in the month of Safar. This was 4 months after the death of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. And his body was the same as he was when he was buried. And they put his body in a wooden coffin that was not long enough to lay out the body, so it was necessary to bend his blessed body. Also, while his blessed body was being placed in there, there was a nail inside of the coffin, and blood started bleeding from his body because of this nail that was in the coffin, and the blood was still warm. And this wooden coffin that they used to transport Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's body out from Fez to Ain Maadi, this coffin is still in the Zawiya in Fez. There's a lot of things that are upstairs in the Zawiya in Fez. Most people only go downstairs, but there's upstairs apartments where a lot of things are kept there. And they kept his body covered in a road called Jinnayara, which is not far from the Zawiya, waiting for the departure to leave the Sahara the next day or the day after that. On the night before Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's body was supposed to leave to go to the Sahara, going back to Ain Maadi, 50 Sahaba, 50 companions of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had the same dream. 50 companions of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had the same dream, telling them that I'm getting ready to travel. I'm getting ready to travel. The things that the children were about, the sons taking his body out, that's something that all of the companions of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani didn't know of. Only a few of the people who were there exhumed his body and was about to leave and go from Fez to Algeria. When that happened, 50 companions of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had the same dream in different parts of the town and country, telling them that my body is being transported from Fez to Algeria. The next day, all of these companions of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani gathered at the Zawiya and they shared the same dream. And they understood that Shaykh Ahmad Tijani had been removed from his tomb, and they found him on the street where they were down the street from the Zawiya. At that exact moment, Shaykh Ahmad Tijani companions realized that the prediction of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani that he made before was going to become true, because Sayyid Muhammad Ghali was there at that time when the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani took his body out. And they all pled with the children to keep his body there, keep him there. Don't take him from Fez. All of the inhabitants of Fez begged the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani not to take his body, but they already exhumed his body. So long story short, when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, again, this note, when he passed away, Muhammad Ghali was traveling the first time. When he passed away, when they buried him the first time, Muhammad Ghali was not there. But when this unexpected event coincided with his return and he was there, so when the sons of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani agreed to leave his body there, they had to do another janazah prayer. And Muhammad Ghali was there to perform this janazah. When they put him back in the tomb, there was this fragrance that emanated from his grave like a perfume. And this perfume was so intoxicating that it was feared that the people present would swoon when they smell it. It was a very strong smell. And this occurrence, even in some of the biographies of shuyukh and historians that are not Tijani, this story is very famous in Fez about the reburial of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, about the smell that came from him and his grave when he was put back into the ground. And all of the inhabitants of Fez, they knew about this and they put something heavy on top of his tomb. And that picture that you see about the maqam of Sayyid Hajj Ali Tamasini, that cover, that headstone, that wooden structure was originally on the grave of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani. So if you see that picture, that is the picture later on. It was moved to Hajj Ali Tamasini's qabr. So that occurrence is very popular, or that story is very famous regarding when Shaykh Ahmad Tijani's body was reburied. And Muhammad Ghali was there to perform the janazah. And then at this time, Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini, he was able to depart with the family of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani, his wives, his possessions, and his two sons, Sayyidi Muhammad al-Kabir and his younger brother, Muhammad al-Habib. And it is said that he raised them both. He raised them both spiritually and as his own children. And Muhammad al-Kabir attained a high station in the knowledge of Allah. And he took care of, Sayyidi Hajj Tamasini took care of his affairs personally as his father would, and also as a sheikh, where it said that Muhammad Kabir had a great opening. He had a great spiritual opening. And he was known at that time to be a spiritual authority in that area. And Muhammad Kabir, Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini, moved back to Tamasin, and Sayyidi Muhammad Kabir stayed in Ain Maadi in the house of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani with his brother, Sayyidi Muhammad Habib. And they were all respected and received numerous gifts from both the elite and the common folk. And Muhammad Kabir was looked at as the inheritor of his father, even though Sayyidi Hajj Ali Tamasini held that position. It is said that the son holds the secret of his father. And next, in the voice note, part 2, we will go through again the story of Muhammad Kabir, in which his story starts to become very similar to the history of Sayyidina Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet ﷺ, who the Prophet ﷺ called him his sons, Hassan and Hussein, his sons. You'll see a very similar occurrence between what happened with Sayyidina Hussein and him being martyred by some people who were seeking his protection. Sayyid Muhammad Kabir was also killed in a similar fashion, in which you'll see the spiritual inheritance and reflection in the life of Shaykh Ahmad Tijani and his sons with the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his sons, i.e. grandsons. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.